Hello, guys, and welcome back to Dark Horse FM. And today we're going to be looking at the elite version of the total domination lower league tactic I created earlier for Hereford. The tactic was quite successful when I tested it with Hereford, and although the roles were slightly different, I decided to create an elite version of this tactic. The spine of the tactic is still based on Darren's devastating 4-1-4-1 DMY tactic from FM16, but I've tweaked it a lot for Football Manager 2022. So looking at the setup, like I explained earlier, it's a 4-1-4-1 tactic. It's a 4-1-4-1 DMY tactic, and I'm testing this tactic out with Liverpool. Currently, I simulated part of the first part of the season. So we are currently in January, the 1st of January 2022, and then looking at the results I've had so far with Liverpool, you can see the schedule here. Currently, we've lost only one game in the league, and that was away at Southampton. The remaining parts of the season, we've struggled to concede goals. It's been plain sailing all through, and you can see just looking at the match results, we conceded just the one goal to Watford, and then we beat Ajax 4-0. We beat Burnley 3-0, Everton 3-0, Club Brugge 3-0. Okay, then we conceded two against Tottenham Hotspur and then beat United 3-0. Most of the matches we've played, we've kept clean sheets against other teams that we've played, and then we can see that we also lost to Ajax. So the Champions League has been quite shaky, and then we can see that throughout most of our games we tend to just concede few goals, and then most of it's clean sheets all the way. So I'm going to show you how the tactic is set up quickly, and then we'll continue to the end of the season, and then we'll see the results when the season is over, how Liverpool turned out with this tactic. Other results in the league so far shows that Liverpool have scored the highest amount of goals in the division. They've also had the highest amount of shots, and then we've conceded the fewest amount of goals as well, and then we've also had the most clean sheets, like I mentioned, 14 clean sheets in just how many games? 14 clean sheets in 20 games, so that's 6 games that we only conceded goals. I expect Man City to have most of the possession, but Liverpool are right up there with 54, and then surprisingly Manchester United as well. So highest pass completion rate, Liverpool are 6th, and then most shots, Liverpool have just been, the tactic seems to work well, and then we score a high amount of goals, and then we concede really few. So the tactic is set up in this way. As opposed to the lower league version of the tactic that uses a super keeper on defend, I opted for a super keeper on support for this tactic because I wanted to be a bit more adventurous, using Liverpool to have the quality of players to execute the tactic. The previous version of the tactic that I created for lower league teams was to suit the quality of players that they have, and now since there's more quality players in higher elite teams, we're going to expect the goalkeepers to be of good quality, and then the defenders as well to be of good quality. So the roles are slightly more adventurous in this particular version of the tactic. So the goalkeeper is a super keeper on support with no instructions whatsoever. The goalkeeper instructions are included in the in transition phase, and I'll get to that during the team instructions. The fullbacks, as opposed to using fullbacks on attack for both left and right in the lower league version, I opted for the complete wing back on attack on the left hand side and then the complete wing back on support on the right hand side. Both players have mark tighter instructions. I'm setting this player to support because I actually want Trent Alexander-Arnold to be a bit more cautious when going forward and allow Andy Robertson to be a bit more adventurous. I'm also going to include a take more risk option because Trent Alexander-Arnold has good passing range and good vision, and I want him to also create chances from deeper areas. So that's why he's actually playing as a complete wing back on support. So it's ideal to notice that for the first part of this season, without including this instruction, Liverpool have had good amounts of results so far. So I'm just adding this for the second part of the season. Both central defenders are ball-playing defenders, one on defend duty and one on cover duty, as opposed to the normal central defenders on defend duty that we use for the lower league version. Both defenders have close down less, tackle harder, and mark tighter as their instructions. The halfback in this formation is retained as a halfback with the identical instructions of shoot less often and mark tighter. In central midfield was where it got really tricky for me, knowing that top elite players actually have the capacity to do more. I could have opted for a Mezzala on the right hand side or a Mezzala on the left, but then I realized just retaining the tactic to see how, if it's going to be effective using the same roles, and then I stuck with that, using a central midfielder on attack on the left hand side and an advanced playmaker on attack on the right hand side. So if you're using a mid-table team, semi or sub-top team, and then you do not have an advanced playmaker on attack for the right hand side or for either of these roles, it's okay to use both central midfielders on attack and then just use these instructions. That's close down more, mark tighter, and then for the central midfielder on attack on the left hand side is dribble more, shoot less often, move into channels, close down more, tackle harder, and mark tighter. In attack, I used, as opposed to wingers that I used in the lower league version of the tactics that were much deeper, I used inside forwards on attack duty. The inside forward on the left and the inside forward on the right have identical instructions. That's Mohamed Salah and Sadio Mane. Normally, I want to leave them to be free roaming and do as they like, but just to ideally recreate and represent the tactic as it should be, I included the instructions that were followed. So that's an inside forward on the right hand side. Since they both have identical instructions, the instructions are more direct passing, roam from positions, sit narrower, tackle harder, and mark tighter. The false nine, as we all know, is probably the most difficult role to field in this tactic. But for elite players in elite teams, it's easier to get the false nine. So but in Liverpool's case, you know they have Roberto Firmino that can play as their false nine. So more direct passing, shoot less often, run from positions, move into channels, close down more, tackle harder, and mark tighter. It's a lot of instructions, I know, but that's what the false nine has been asked to do. Basically, this guy's role is just to drop deep into this space and allow the inside forward that are slightly more narrow than the wingers used in the lower league version of this tactic. They will get forward and play as the two strikers while he's just the supporting striker in between to give them space for them to run into and then create more chances and score more goals. As the tactic is set up so far, there are no set pieces attached. I didn't even include set piece takers in this tactic. Everything is all blank, so the team is basically playing by default. Whoever is good at taking corners will take the corners. Whoever is good at taking throw-ins will take the throw-ins. Defenders on the left hand side and defenders on the right, and even the central defenders might get forward if they choose. Everything is all default in the way corners are set up. I haven't touched anything in the corner routine, so the players, there's no set pieces attached to this tactic. But the team instructions so far, out of possession, the team is expected to press higher with a higher defensive line and to press more urgently. They are also asked to use tight marking and preferring short goalkeeper distributions. The team has also been asked to get stuck in and try and be more aggressive to win the ball back early. The defensive width is standard as opposed to using the narrow version that is common or that we know works in the match engine and is more effective for defending spaces in the match engine. But for this tactic, I'm going to leave it on standard. No offside trap. And in transition, the team has been asked to counter press and to counter. That's the way the tactic is set up. But in possession, the goalkeeper, like I included earlier, the goalkeeper instructions have been added to in transition. So the goalkeeper has been asked to slow the pace down and then to distribute to fullbacks. Also to roll it out, and as opposed to kicking it low and losing the ball too easily, while being asked to play out of defense. So he's going to roll it out and distribute it to fullbacks. In possession, the team has been asked to play narrower. So the team width is narrow, the attacking width is narrow. And then the approach play, the team has been asked to pass into space, play the ball through the middle, and then to play out of defense. Both fullbacks have been asked to overlap, both fullbacks are complete wingbacks and attack and support, respectively. So they are going to be asked, the team has been asked to look for the overlap to try and bring those players into play. In the final third, the team has been asked to whip crosses in and then to walk the ball into the box. I chose whip crosses because these players have the capacity and the technical ability to play those fast balls into the box to try and catch the opposition off guard. The passing directness is shorter and then the tempo is slightly higher. Not all the way up to extremely high pressing, high tempo, but just normal high tempo. The dribbling, the players have been asked to run at defense and then to be more expressive when creating chances. So guys, that's the summary of the tactic. Remember to subscribe to this channel to get notifications when new videos are posted, and remember to hit the like button if you found this tactic really useful. Also, I'm going to attach the link in the description down below so you can download the tactic for yourself and test it out and see how it works for your team and in your game. So currently we're in 1st of January. I still have to go to the end of the season to see where Liverpool finish. But right now, so far, looking at all their competitions, so far they're still in all competitions and they've qualified for the knockout phase of the Champions League, well, as expected. And they're already in the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. The FA Cup, Liverpool is going to meet Millwall in the 3rd round. And in the league, we're 10 points clear from the team that's second, and that's Manchester City. We've lost only the one game and then the one draw against Burnley. Wow, really, Burnley. That must have been some game. Okay, but that's how the tactic is currently. As I'm going to be back at the end of the season and see how far Liverpool do. So guys, I'll catch you on May the 31st, I guess. So guys, we're back on the 31st of May 2022, and I feel slightly disappointed, but the results are actually quite good looking at what I've seen so far. Liverpool went on to win the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, and we went on to win the Premier League as well with 94 points, which is closer than the first set of points that we had. That was 10 points different. This is now 98 and 94. I think I need to do the math with this one. 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94. Okay, that's 6 points difference. So it's 6 points gap between Liverpool and Manchester City. But then we lost in the quarter final to Real Madrid, which was a tough game in my opinion. So let me just check and see how that turned out. Looking at the results, we lost 1-0 and then we drew 1-1 in the second leg. So Madrid went on with 2-1 aggregate, but looking at our ending part of the season, we lost to Crystal Palace 4-2. This was quite disappointing as well. So going towards the end of the season, the team started to really tire out. That's my guess. It was simulated anyway, so I can't really tell how that went down because I wasn't the one playing. We lost to Arsenal, drew with Manchester City, but we went on to win the FA Cup against Man United, and then we drew the last game of the season to West Ham as well. And Mohamed Salah, I kid you not, got sent off in that match. There's a collector's item for you. That's basically how the tactic turned out. So looking at the team stats, Liverpool finished with 90 goals in the season, and then we had the fewest shots against, the least conceded goals. That's 20 to 90. That's a 70 goal difference in our favor. Most clean sheets as well with 24 out of 38 games. We get 24 clean sheets. The most tackles won was Southampton, but Liverpool was right up there as well. With the most shots in the season was also Liverpool, and then most points per game, 2.47 points per game. That's slightly almost 2.5 points per game. I need to look for goals per game. Looking at the team's general performance from the data hub looking at the team's analytics so far, we expected 2.2 goals per game, and then expected goals per game was 2.2, but then we scored slightly more goals. That's 2.37 goals per game, and then we conceded only slightly more than half a goal per game. So that's most clean sheets as well. Expected at 0.53 goals conceded per game. Expected to concede 0.055. So we conceded less goals than we were expected to concede in each game. Passes completed, well, at this point, tackles won, passes completed was 89.85. All this really, I don't know. I normally don't check this part of the. Once I'm looking at my goals per game and then the amount of goals I've conceded and the amount of goals I scored, I'm pretty much done with this script anyway. So guys, that's the summary of the tactic as a whole. So I'm going to attach the link in the description down below so you can download the tactic for yourself and then try it for your teams, and then you can let me know in the comment section how the tactic works out for you, or if there's also an alternative tactic that you want me to tweak to this one, or a tactic that you want me to create. Here at DarkHorseFM, we normally create tactics for lower league clubs, but I chose today to actually create an elite version of a lower league tactic that I created earlier. And so this is the elite version of that tactic that I tested with Liverpool, and those are the results that we have seen so far. I'll catch you guys in the next video. I'm going to probably have another idea for playing with a lower league club. So I'm probably going to travel somewhere, maybe to Croatia or Ukraine or Hungary, to see a random team that I can just pick up and take them to European glory or whatever. So I'll catch you guys in the next video. And to also hit like so you can, well, for the subscribe button, remember to turn on the notifications so you can get notifications when new videos are out. Thanks for watching guys. I'll catch you guys later.